Imagine a world plunged into darkness the moment the sun sets. A world without light, without instant communication, without the very pulse of modern life. This was the world before a humble bookbinder's apprentice. Born into poverty in the dirty back streets of 19th century London, decided to challenge everything we thought we knew about the universe. His name was Michael Faraday, and this is the untold story of the man who, with no formal education, single-handedly sparked the electric age. But Faraday's journey was far from a simple spark of genius. It was a brutal, uphill battle against a rigid class system and the scientific establishment that wanted to keep him in his place. He started at the very bottom, sweeping floors at the prestigious Royal Institution. While the great scientists of the day debated theories in grand lecture halls, Faraday was in the basement, devouring every book he could get his hands on, secretly conducting his own experiments after everyone else had gone home. He wasn't just learning science. He was living it, breathing it, driven by an insatiable curiosity that burned brighter than any gas lamp. His break came when he landed the job as a lab assistant to the flamboyant and famous chemist Sir Humphry Davy. At first, it seemed like a dream. Faraday traveled across Europe with Davy, meeting the greatest minds of the age. But the dream quickly soured. Davy's wife treated Faraday not as a scientific protege, but as a common valet, a servant. And Davy himself, consumed by jealousy of Faraday's burgeoning talent, began to actively sabotage his career. He would claim Faraday's discoveries as his own and block his advancement at every turn. It was a constant, humiliating struggle. Faraday was an outsider, a nobody in a world of wealth and privilege. But you cannot stop a force of nature. While Davy was basking in the limelight, Faraday was quietly piecing together the greatest puzzle of his time: the mysterious connection between electricity and magnetism. Other scientists saw them as two separate forces. Faraday, with his unique, intuitive mind, felt they were two sides of the same coin. He envisioned invisible lines of force flowing through space, a concept so radical, so bizarre, that his peers mocked him for it. They called it unmathematical and childish. They couldn't see what he could see. Night after night, in his small lab, he toiled. He was obsessed with a simple question. If an electric current could create a magnetic field, could a magnet create an electric current? It seemed impossible. Everyone who had tried had failed. The scientific world had moved on. But Faraday couldn't let it go. He wrapped wires around iron rings, moved magnets in and out of coils. Day after day, week after week, for nearly 10 years. Failure after failure. The pressure mounted. Davy's mockery echoed in his ears. His own self-doubt began to creep in. Was he chasing a ghost? Was he just a foolish bookbinder playing at being a scientist? Then, on August 29, 1831, it happened. In an experiment so simple it was almost elegant, he connected a wire coil to a galvanometer, a device that detects electric current. He then took a simple bar magnet and plunged it into the center of the coil. The needle on the galvanometer twitched. It moved. He pulled the magnet out. The needle twitched again in the opposite direction. That was it. That was the secret. It wasn't the presence of the magnet that mattered, but its motion. He had generated electricity from magnetism. He had discovered electromagnetic induction. In that single, fleeting moment, the modern world was born. That twitching needle was the ancestor of every power plant, every electric motor, every light that pushes back the night. From that simple principle came the dynamo, the generator, the entire electrical grid that powers our civilization. Faraday had unlocked a power that would reshape humanity forever. He had done what the most celebrated, university-educated minds of his time could not. He went on to make discovery after discovery. He laid the groundwork for the electric motor, explained electrolysis, and even proposed that light itself was a form of electromagnetic radiation, a theory that would later be proven by James Clerk Maxwell and become the foundation for Einstein's theory of relativity. He turned down a knighthood, refused to profit from his inventions, and dedicated his life to sharing knowledge with the public, creating the famous Christmas lectures for children that continue to this day. He never forgot where he came from. But here is the final, shocking twist in the story of Michael Faraday, the one that changes everything. The man who invented the very engine of industrial progress, the man who gave us the power to build our sprawling, noisy, electrified world, personally detested the very world he helped create. Faraday was a man of profound, quiet faith. He found God not in a church, but in the elegant, ordered laws of nature he uncovered. His vision of invisible lines of force wasn't just a scientific model. To him, it was a glimpse of the divine unity of the cosmos. As the world grew louder, dirtier, and more complicated with the technology he had unleashed, Faraday retreated. He longed for simplicity, for quiet contemplation. He spent his final years in a small house granted to him by Queen Victoria, finding more solace in the patterns of a sunset than in the glow of the electric lights he had made possible. The father of the modern age, in the end, wanted nothing more than to escape it. He lit up the world, only to seek refuge from its glare. Thank you so much for watching this journey into the mind of a true genius. If you were as captivated by Faraday's story as we are, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that uncover the hidden history behind our world. We'll see you in the next one.